What is going on, YouTube family? It's Andrea here at VW Family Farm, and today I want to talk to you about something I've been thinking about for a while. Ever since the shindig, I've been tossing around doing this video in my head. Some videos I have to mull over for a little bit before I decide whether or not I really want to do that video or not. So I brought it up to Ben today, and he said, you know, I've been thinking the same thing. That's the same topic I've been thinking about. So when we kind of are on the same page like that, I usually think, okay, I probably better do that video. So this video is tips and tricks if you want to be successful on YouTube. And in the title, I'm going to title this Tips and Tricks to be Successful on YouTube, in my humble opinion, because I am in no way an expert. These are just some things in our YouTube journey that I have learned by experience, and some things I've learned by observing others and their successes. And so these are just some things I wanted to share with you. So stay tuned. Okay, first off, I want to say this video is totally meant to be a motivational video for you guys. It is in no way bashing anyone or saying don't do this, don't. It's not a video like that. It's some things that you should do. The other night I was sitting there watching a video, and Ben walked by and said, "What are you watching?" And it was the Prairie Homestead. She put out an awesome video this past week about how does she run her online businesses. I can't remember the exact title, but it was how to be successful running an online business. And I love things like that. Those are the kinds of things. I'm a list maker. I think about in my head. I write things down, all those kinds of things. When I commit to something, I'm usually what they call whole hog into it. So I really like reading about how people are successful, observing all those kinds of things. So that's what I want to talk to y'all about today. Okay, so after the shindig, which if you have no idea, if you're watching this video and you have no idea what the shindig is, it was a big YouTuber homestead event that we just co-hosted back a month ago, April 2019, not even quite a month yet. But anyway, what I found from people personally emailing me, leaving comments, talking to me in person, all those kinds of things, yes, a lot of motivation came out of that to grow your own food, which is what this homesteading community on YouTube is basically about. But even more than that was people fired up and motivated to document their journeys on YouTube, because it was mainly a lot of YouTube channels involved. There were a lot of other people as well that attended, but it was a huge YouTube event, which is awesome, because I had no interest in YouTube until a little over a year ago. Emily, our daughter, if you're new here, wanted to start a channel, and we just kind of started slowly posting a video here and there, and it has just grown into so much more. Now it's such a awesome way to preserve our family's memories, our journey, all those kinds of things, and to have a little side business along the way. Let's be honest, once you hit 1,000 subscribers and hit the watch hours, it can become a sort of little side business for you. So that's been an unexpected blessing. But I want to tell you a little bit about our journey with YouTube. So last winter, I believe it was in January, we started our YouTube channel, and we posted videos here and there all the way up until May. I know that landmark in May because we went to the Baker Creek Spring Planting Festival, which can kind of be a YouTube event in itself. And I remember driving up, we've shared this a lot of times, but Emily saying, I wonder if someone will recognize us. And I remember us saying, Emily, we have 12 subscribers. No, those are basically your grandparents and people back at home. So I remember at that point in May, we had 12 subscribers. So we posted videos all that time and had 12 subscribers. Another little tidbit about our channel, we have never yet to this point had a video go what they call viral or trending, where a video just takes off. Sometimes they're the most random videos and just gets thousands, hundreds of thousands, a million views, whatever. We've never had one even remotely do that. Our most watched video I watched right before I turned the camera on, I looked, is like 3.6 thousand or something. Now our channel we have very loyal viewers. I think we have some of the best viewers on YouTube. They're very loyal. We get very consistent views on pretty much anything we put out. Our viewers are just awesome watching what we put on our channel, but we just don't have any as of yet that have really gone crazy. So our growth has been slow. It's old-fashioned organic growth, I would call it, kind of like the tortoise and the hare, just a little bit here, a little bit there, growing. We try to have people on our channel that you would recognize, and if we get the opportunity to be on their channel to get our name out there, we try to get on live streams, things like that, because all of those things are key to getting your name out there. Get on live streams and interact with people. All those things help. Also, posting on other social media sites about your YouTube channel for your Facebook friends to find out that you're doing YouTube, or post on Instagram, just cross-posting. All those kinds of things help as well. Okay, so the first thing I want to say, and I'm going to reference a couple channels in this video, just channels that I love and watch and respect, and some of them I'm friends with in real life. So I'm going to use them kind of for examples on this video. And two of the channels I wanted to say, so I told you we've never had any videos just go crazy, go viral. We've never had like a huge growth in our channel where we're gaining thousands of subs a day. That just hasn't happened for us. Ours has been slow. In the fall, after we went to Baker Creek and had 12 subs, we grew a little bit over the summer, and by the fall we got to 200 and something subscribers. So we'd been on YouTube like 9 months and we were stuck in the 200s. Some people have that in the first week or two, but we were stuck there for a long time. After that, we took off growing. Different channels putting us on their channel really helped us out, collaborations, things like that. And they say the first 1,000 is the hardest. That was certainly true for us. So anyway, just if you're there, just take heart, just keep going. But like I said a minute ago, I want to reference two channels that you might see as overnight successes. The first one is our good friends over at Roots and Refuge. We know them personally. We love them. They're our really good friends in real life. But some of you who don't know them as well or don't know their story, you might see them as an overnight success. But they've said this many times on their channel and in their videos. This was their third attempt at YouTube. Jess talks about that in some of her videos. She even tells you in some of her videos how to go back and watch some of their first videos. Their channel, I don't even think, was called the same thing. But they'd attempted it. This is their third time. So that tells you the first two times they didn't take off and go crazy like they did this time. So the overnight success thing is kind of like finding your favorite band on the radio and thinking they were just an overnight success. They probably put in the time and work playing gigs for years on end before they ever got to that point. And that's the thing with YouTube channels too. Jess and Jeremiah have put in a lot of years of work into their farm, and therefore that translated into their YouTube channel that no one ever saw before they became known on YouTube. So don't shortchange people by thinking they just woke up one day and decided to do it and everything turned to gold, because they put in a lot of hours of work to get to that point. Same thing with White House on the Hill. That's another channel I really enjoy, and they've been really successful. They have a video out where they interview Justin Rhodes about how to be successful on YouTube, some tips for YouTubers. And they talk about, I think it's in that video, but I've watched several of theirs, so I don't know exactly which video. But Jake talks about at White House on the Hill how many videos they put out before they got past, like, I think it was like 10 subscribers or something. They really struggled to get subscribers at the beginning, which now they're like the hottest thing since sliced bread. They're crazy popular. Everything they put out just gets thousands of views. So again, they put in the time and effort to build their channel to what it is today. And that leads me to my next point. If you want to just put out a couple videos and have 1,000 subs, that probably happens sometimes. But another thing that I learned from watching some of Jake's videos and him talking about their slow start, and I thought, man, that's good info. If you do that, you still don't have the content out there for subscribers to watch and get to know your family and get your watch hours up. So just because you can get subs really quickly doesn't mean you have the content out there. So if you're starting your YouTube channel and you don't have tons of subs, don't worry, just keep going, because the more content you put out there, it lets people get to know you and get to know your family. And when that big sub count jump happens, which it will, you've got content out there for them to go back and binge watch and get to know you. So don't worry about it. Just run your race. And that's another thing I wanted to tell you. Don't fall into the comparison game, because think about this. I'm training a driver who's about to be 16. If you're driving a car and you look off over there at something in the field, where does your car go? It goes right in the ditch. Where if you keep your eyes on your lane and your course, you're going to be good. That's the same thing with YouTube. Don't fall into that comparison trap, like what are they doing over there and them and I'm not good enough and all that. You will wind up in the ditch. Focus on your race, because you are worthy and you are valuable and your story is worth telling. And don't forget that. Your story is only yours. No one else has your story. Whether you have a homestead that's fully functional and thriving and up and running and you've got so much knowledge, or whether you're just starting out and you're in an apartment just dreaming about a homestead, your story is yours. And think about this. If you're at the beginning and you don't have all the things going on and all the things growing and all that, you are going to have an advantage, because people are going to be able to watch you build your entire homestead or whatever genre of YouTube you're in. But if you have it all going on when you first start your channel, play to that strength as well. Use that knowledge. And that's another thing I wanted to say. We as content creators, I think all of us at one time or another have fallen into the Google and then regurgitate information trap. Don't do that either. When we first started filming videos, a few times I was wanting to film stuff that I was already doing, which in fact I think it was about milk kefir. And it was one of our first few videos. And so I researched and I was on Google finding all these cool technical facts and names for all the probiotic strains in it and everything. And I knew what I was talking about with milk kefir. I'd been doing it for years, but I didn't know all those scientific terms. And even after I looked them up, I struggled to be able to repeat them because they weren't really my knowledge. And at that time, Lane was filming me, and we just turned the camera off one day and he said, "Mom, this isn't," and he said it respectfully, but he said, "This isn't really gonna work for us because this is you kind of repeating stuff that you don't seem really comfortable saying." And you know what? He was right. I wasn't, because it wasn't my knowledge. So I've tried. There's been a few times I've had to Google a few things before I do a video, because I know how I do things and that they work, but I want to make sure I'm not leading you guys astray on anything. But for the most part, I try not to Google anything. If I don't know it, or most of the way know it, and I just need a little help on some terms, I try not to do a video on it, because I don't want to lead y'all astray just for the fact of making a video. I don't want to do that. Okay, so that leads me to another thing. Be yourself. Don't try to be someone else. And that plays into the whole comparison thing. Don't look over here and over there and think, well, people are drawn to them, I'm going to be like them. And start trying to take on their personality, because that's not you and that's not real. That's fake. So be yourself. Of course, play up your strengths and play up your personality so people can get to know you and know your family and know your story. But just always stay true to yourself, because you're worthy just like you are. You don't have to become someone else's personality for people to like you, because if we all were alike, that'd be so very boring. Also, be consistent. First off, you have to decide, am I doing this YouTube channel just for fun and I'm just going to post every once in a while, once a month or two, and just to document my journey and all that? Or am I wanting to really make a success of this? And success is a loose term, because what's your definition of success? If it's just a way to document your journey and keep a record for your kids and grandkids, that is your success. But if you want to, make a go of this YouTube thing and possibly make some money at it, you're going to have to be consistent. And for quite a while, I told you our journey was slow with our sub count and all that. I wasn't being consistent at it. But you almost have to treat it like a part-time job. You have to be very faithful, because honestly, it's a whole lot easier for me to go out and move cows or trim goat hooves or whatever it is I'm doing without lugging a camera around and changing camera angles and trying to tell y'all what I'm doing and all that. But to keep a YouTube following involved, you have to do those things. You have to treat it like a job and be consistent at it. To become monetized on YouTube, you need 4,000 watch hours. That's 240,000 minutes. You ask me why I know that? That's because when we really started getting into it and we committed, we're gonna make a go of this thing, I looked up how many minutes was 4,000 hours, and I drilled that in my head, how many videos it would take at this long and getting this many views and this and that before we would actually get there. And it took a while, but it was something we committed to, and we thought, people can't get to know us if we don't post regularly and if we don't let them in and see who we are. And when we started doing that, it was like it opened up and it became so much more fun, because people feel like they know you. And I'll be honest, I feel like I know them. I feel like I know our viewers. So, but it takes putting in the time and effort and being consistent at it. Okay, last thing I want to end with is this. And I'm going to reference Roots and Refuge and White House on the Hill again, just because they're wildly successful channels that I really like, and they were who came to mind when I was thinking about this. And this kind of goes back to be yourself. I was thinking, sometimes it's really tempting to just do what everyone else is doing. I have fell into that so many times. I've wound up with animals because other people got them and I thought, oh, I need those, only to find out, why did I take those on? I don't need those. Things like that. But I thought, how ridiculous would it be if Jess, who is such an awesome gardener, all of a sudden decided, I'm abandoning the garden, I'm getting emu eggs and I'm going to incubate them, and that's going to be my thing now. I'm going to incubate emu eggs. And then, but Jake over at White House on the Hill sees Roots and Refuge's success and says, you know what? Scrap all the poultry. We're done with chickens. We're done with emus. We're done with all that. And we're going to start talking about cattle panel arch trellises, because that is what has been successful. Forget the emu. And he'd never hatched the egg. Wouldn't that be crazy? Because that's like part of their identity. Jess and the cattle panel trellises, Jake and Becky and the emu. Now, hear me out. I am not saying that you can't take something and run with it as well that someone else is doing. I'm not saying anything about don't copy anyone or anything like that, because there's so much overlapping on YouTube. That's just how it is. Right now, everybody's putting out bee videos, and you know what? None of them are copying each other. You know why they're doing it? Because it's swarm season. It's bee season. You're fixing to see tons of gardening videos, not because everyone's copying each other, but because it's gardening season. And let me give you an example. Jess put out the arch trellis videos, but you know what? Not everyone has a truck or trailer or a great way to haul those. So the City Stead put out a video on how to get those home if you don't have the perfect way to haul them. And you know what? That's been really successful. I've heard him referenced several times by Jess herself on how to transport cattle panels. That's genius. But to just out and out say, someone's doing this, I'm going to do exactly that, is probably not going to work. Because you know what? You need to find your thing. Even if it's the same thing everyone else is doing, just don't do it exactly the same way. Because your way might be better. Your way has value too. If I see a topic and I think, oh, I want to do a video on that because that's just passion, I'm passionate about that or whatever, I try to let my creative juices flow about how I'm going to do it with a spin on it, on how we do it, not exactly what they're doing, if that makes sense. Don't get me wrong and think I'm saying don't do what everyone else is doing. Don't copy them. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying find your thing, because your thing is probably pretty awesome and worth sharing. I think that's all I've got. I just want to encourage y'all, if you're thinking about doing a YouTube channel, do it. Don't wait, because the key is sticking with it. Do you know what the key is to all the successful channels on YouTube? They stuck with it. That's the key. They kept going. And we're by no means what I would call super successful, but it sure has been fun. And we plan on continuing as well. We found a huge community of friends and people like family to us. And if it's something you desire to do, you feel a calling to do, don't let anything stop you. Just do it. And you know what? You might find that it's the best thing you ever did. I'll talk to y'all later. God bless.